Hey everyone, it's Andrew. I'm here with Charlie and welcome back to our channel on Everything Dog. Today we're going to be doing a video on Charlie's top 10 toys of all time. The other day I went through each of Charlie's current toys and I ranked them from 1 to 10 with a couple honorable mentions. And so what we'll do in this video is we're going to do a general review of each of those toys one by one. There's going to be links in the description below if you're interested in purchasing any of these toys. When reviewing these toys, I really emphasize the ones that Charlie has gotten the most fun out of and have held up the most as far as durability because he likes to destroy toys. And so those will be good toys if you have a dog that is prone to destroying the toy or if you're looking for a different option as far as engagement and things like that. But we'll just get started with Charlie's top 10 toys of all time. Okay, so coming in at number 10 is the Classic Kong for small dogs. This is specifically the small version. You can get this on Amazon for about $8.50. There's a link in the description below. But many of you know about Kongs. Kongs are essentially this rubber material that is treat dispensing. So there's a hole on the bottom and there's a hole on the top here. You can put peanut butter, treats, dental sticks, anything like that in this. Specifically why this comes in at number 10 compared to the large version is Charlie found this toy when he was walking outside one day, just randomly in the grass. He kind of grabbed it and took it home and played with it non-stop. We find that compared to the big version, which is this size, we've got a bunch of these both in red and black. He tends to gravitate towards the smaller one just because I think the hole on here is much smaller, so treats and things that you put in here stay in there longer and it's more of a challenge for him, versus in the large version here, the hole is larger, so really he can get his tongue in there, get things out very easily, or just by throwing it around it falls out easily. So for the large one, it just doesn't seem to engage with him or have as much fun. So for those of you that have a dog where they won't swallow the toy, or a large dog that it won't swallow the toy, I recommend this Classic Kong for small dogs. It's about $8.50 on Amazon. The larger version is an option as well. Some dogs like that better. We've got a wide variety of toys, so I'm going to just pull this out, but we've got different variations of this. So this is the Chew King version of this. It's basically a Kong that's this green version. It's a little bit more pliable than the version of the Kong. We've got two of those. We've got a Barkbox version like this, where it's essentially this more solid rubber. It's a harder material. This came in a box at times. It's got like this like cross-hatch top here, as well as a hole on the bottom here. Charlie likes this one as well. It's a little bit sturdier than the Kong. It's less rubbery, but he'll bite into this and that's held up very well as well. Other versions of these are the Vibrant Life version. You can get this at Walmart for pretty cheap. It has this rubber piece out on the top here, and ridges here for some variation. It's similar to the size of the Classic Kong for small dogs, so that's an option as well. As you can see, there's like some peanut butter residual or something on that, but Charlie's torn that up. And then Barkbox actually sent us this in the Thanksgiving box 2 years in a row. This is the Super Chewer like Turkey Kong. So it's got a hole on the top here as well as a hole on the bottom here, and it's a little bit wider. I find that for this one the treats fall out a little bit easier. So we've got that, and then this is one that I just randomly found in the store one day. I think it was at TJ Maxx or something. I don't remember which company it was, but it has this yellow ridges and is similar to a Kong with like a kind of snowman shape. This one actually smells a lot like rubber, so Charlie hasn't used this much. I suspect it just doesn't taste good. I've never tasted it myself, but he doesn't play with that one as much compared to the others, so don't gravitate towards that. And then this is one, I don't remember the brand name, but it's essentially a penguin Kong. It's got a penguin shape and then similar design where there's a hole on the top, hole on the bottom. It did have feet at one point, but he bit those off. This is a similar shape to the Classic Kong, so he plays with this one all the time as well. So those are all the variations of Kongs and things like that. But coming in at number 10 is the Classic Kong for small dogs. I highly recommend any of these treat dispensing toys, but of all these, Charlie gravitates towards the Classic Kong for small dogs compared to the other one, or the penguin one shaped one as well. I'll look up the name of this in the description, and I'll put a link in the description as well. But of these two, I'd say that he likes this mini Kong a little bit more. Okay, so coming in at number 9 is the Boss Bones Chew Toys. We picked these up from PetSmart about 2 years ago with a variety pack. I looked online and you can get this for $22.99 from PetSmart. It comes with 3 separate toys. I pulled out the other toys just so you get an idea of what they look like. But of these 3 toys, he likes this one the most. So the Boss Bone toys, they're very nice. They're essentially this, I guess it's like this composite of chewed up wood or like wood composite. So it's a nice alternative to other like plastic bones or nyla bones. There's a couple different variations of the design. This one has this swirly kind of appearance. With initially I had round nubs on each side, and Charlie's been chewing on this for a while, like 2 years, and it's held up very well. The alternative is this one, which was essentially it was set up where it was like shaped like a bone. So there was a nub on here, a nub on here, and then a longer bone edge here. He's obviously chewed that one. And then there's this alternative shape like this, which is this rounded end here with kind of like this bone shape on the end. These 2 are the composite wood. I highly recommend these. This is definitely my number 9 ranked toy on the list, and the composite wood's a great option. The reason why I'm bringing up this one is this is an alternative one that we picked up. There was a variety pack at Christmas time. It was flavored like I guess like cookies or something like that, vanilla scented or something. This one is a little bit different. It's a harder material. It's similar to a nyla bone. It's not really this composite wood. It's more of like a plasticky material. Charlie's kind of chewed on these a little bit, but it's a little bit too hard for his taste. He doesn't like solid nylon toys, and so when we got this variety pack, I ended up giving the other 2 toys away to my parents just because he doesn't play with it. This is the only one we have left. So when you look at the Boss Bones options, the composite wood I definitely say is a better option. It holds up really well for a dog that chews very, very hard for bones. They might chew through this pretty quicker, a little bit quicker, because it's a little bit softer. So for if you find your dog gravitates towards the nylon option, I would lean towards that if they chew very hard. Otherwise, this composite option is a great option. So these are the Boss Bones variety pack. You can get it from PetSmart for $22.99. I'll put a link in the description below. Okay, and coming in at number 8 is the Dentley small femur bone. You can get these from PetSmart for about $5.99. They have several variations of these. These are the small femur bones. They also have this longer version like this. Essentially, this is your classic bleached femur bone. It is a white color and appearance. They do have an option where it's filled or unfilled. I gravitate towards the unfilled version just due to concern of like bacteria or like preservation of whatever they put into the filling, and I feel like it's not the greatest thing for your dog in general. But the unfilled version is $5.99. These are a great option. We've gotten I don't even know countless numbers of these over the time period, and Charlie absolutely loves them. When we anytime I go to PetSmart, I grab one of these on the way out just as a reward for him because he usually sits in the car because we can't really bring him in there. But this is essentially a femur bone. It's like bleached, it's clean, it's nice and easy. You can put peanut butter in here, you can put different things in here as far as like a treat reward. He really likes chasing after the peanut butter, chewing it and things like that. We haven't had issues as far as damaging his teeth or anything. It is a hard bone. It is solid. Sometimes if it breaks apart and like falls apart over time, you'll have to throw it out. But in general, it's a great option. I prefer the smaller ones like this size. So that's one that had like peanut butter on it, similar to this one. I prefer the smaller one just because I find that the larger one gets stuff stuck in here. So if you look in here, that's probably like some residual peanut butter. We don't really use the longer one anymore, just because he doesn't get as much fun out of it, just because the stuff gets stuck in there and it gets kind of gross, and I'm worried about cleaning it out over time. But this one I think comes for like $7.99 or $8.99, the longer version, and that's really it. But that's the Dentley's small femur bones. They're at PetSmart. They're $5.99. You can see it in like the bone rawhide aisle, and that's a great option if you're interested in it. These are a great toy for like chew toy, treat reward toy, something you want to leave your dog leave your dog with when you leave the house. So that's our number 8 toy. Okay, so next up, coming in at number 7 is the Vanfine Almost Indestructible Squeaky Toy. I previously done an actual review video on this because we like this squeaker toy so much, so I'll put a link in above if you're interested in watching that video. But this is the Vanfine Squeaky Toy. Essentially it's this rubber toy which has a squeaker in it. I won't squeak it because Charlie is behind me and he'll probably jump up and want this toy because he likes it so much. But essentially there's a squeaker on one end and then a squeaker on the other end, and it's basically this solid hollow rubber with nubs on the side and edges here. We've gotten these two versions. You can get it on Amazon for $10.99. It's a pretty cheap and affordable option. We've had both of these toys for about, I think, like 2 years, or one of them I think was 1.5 years and the other was 2 years. I'll say that this thing is a beast. For Charlie, it's held up. It's the only squeaker we've ever found that doesn't break apart, and he loves squeakers. Like if you get him a stuffed toy with a squeaker, he'll tear it apart in like 2 seconds. And so a squeaker that holds up very well is a great option for you. So check out my video on this. I'll squeak it now, but essentially that's what the squeakers sound like even after 2 years. So this squeaker is clearly broken. Charlie's under the camera, so he might knock it, but the other edge here squeaks still, and it's very loud, and it stays pretty good. I'm gonna give that to him just because he's under the camera and he's gonna knock it over. So that's that option. So that was the black one. This one is a red version of it. It's virtually identical. Squeaking noise is a little bit different, where it's a little more high pitched, but that's that. So that's the Vanfine Almost Indestructible Squeaker Toy. I'll say that if you look on their website, we've tried this option as well. So this is through Vanfine as well, but this is more of like this hollow tube with a squeaker only on one end, which is right here. If you take a look, this squeaker did break over time. And so it just kind of does that squishing thing. Charlie will grab this kind of randomly, but it's not a great option. So if you look on the Vanfine website, go with the Almost Indestructible toy that's shaped like this. This other option seemed to break over time, and that's $10.99 on Amazon, and that's our number 7 toy. Okay, so coming in at number 6 is the Super Chewer by Barkbox Space Jam themed basketball, which is this toy right here. Currently on Barkshop.com, it's currently out of stock. However, if you look on eBay or other websites, you can probably find this for about $14 if you look around. So this was a toy that we got probably August or July of last year as part of the Space Jam themed box from Super Chewer. Essentially it is this rubber basketball. In the inside is like this cloth Space Jam themed kind of like ball. This toy Charlie absolutely loves. He plays with it literally every single time we take it out. He'll run around the house with it as far as chasing it, retrieving it. He'll just grab it and like chew it or bite on it and chew it like this because it's very pliable. With this, it's like a clear rubber basketball on the outside. The rubber is held up very well. Even after over a year of use, you'll see that there's like a little crack here along the seam, and there's some little puncture points, but however it still bounces. You can throw this around, it'll bounce around, and really acts like a basketball as far as how much it bounces. But this is the Space Jam themed basketball from Super Chewer. If you're interested in signing up for Super Chewer, I'll leave a link with a promotional code for 1 month off a 6-month or 12-month subscription. And then if you're looking online, you can probably find this for $14. I would definitely buy this again for $14. However, currently it's still holding up pretty well. So we'll get the most out of this toy until it breaks apart entirely. Next up, for our number 5 toy on a similar theme, is the Super Chewer by Barkbox Howler Growler. This is actually one of the first toys we ever got through Super Chewer when we first adopted Charlie about 2.5 years ago. I don't remember which box this came in, but this was like this growler themed toy. What it is essentially a solid piece of, or a pretty solid piece of rubber, shaped as a growler. On the top is this handle here with a spout on the top like this, and then there's a squeaker on the bottom. This toy does come in at number 5 because the squeaker no longer works. When we first got it, it was a very loud squeaker that Charlie squeaked all the time. And the nice part is this rubber here is very thick. It's not something that'll fall apart very easily. And even after over 2 years of use, the only reason why it doesn't squeak is because he chewed the top here and kind of lifted this part up here. I believe the squeaker worked pretty well for the time being before that. This thing is a champ. It's a beast as far as the durability. We used to bring him to a local baseball field where it was like fenced in. We would throw this thing like 40-30 yards and he would chase after it, he would squeak it, and it would just bounce around. The nice part is because it's like this abnormal shape, it would bounce in irregular ways and he would go after it all the time. The only reason why it's not his number 1 toy is because the squeaker broke. Otherwise, this toy is great and I highly recommend it. When I looked online in preparation for this video, I found that it's out of stock and unavailable online. So if you ever can track down this toy, I highly recommend buying it. And that's the Super Chewer by Barkbox Howler Growler. If you can. Okay, so we're approaching Charlie's top 4 toys of all time. This is where it gets very, very difficult when in ranking these, and all these could be number 1 in their different ways. But coming in at number 4 is the Emoly, that's Emoly UFO dog treat ball. This is usually sold out on Amazon, but however, in preparation for this video, I found that you could actually get it on there for $18.99 currently. So if you could use the link below, you can purchase this toy right now. However, it might be sold out by this point because it's so popular. But this is this UFO themed toy. It's treat dispensing. It comes in this gray color as well as like a baby bluish color. How this works is this is a kind of like a piece of rubber with this ball area in the inside. On the edges here is this kind of like UFO shape or planet shaped edge, and then the inside here is this ball that has 2 separate holes on the top and the bottom that allow access for treat dispensing. When you first buy this, it has, like, similar to the other toy I showed you earlier, like this kind of like cross hatch area where it's like an X shape that allows you to put the treats inside and they stay inside. However, we've had this for about, I'd say, 18 months, and Charlie over time has kind of ripped apart that, so now it's just a hole on the top and bottom. When you first get this toy, you can put any type of treat in there, like Charlie Bear treats, the Super Chewer treats, anything small will go inside here and stay inside. The nice part is because of the ball shape and the fact that there are like this rubber on the top, the treats stay in there, and for Charlie, he'll spend like days looking after trying to get those treats out. He'll essentially try to like bite it initially, try to bounce it around. He'll throw this toy against the ground because it's abnormally shaped. It'll bounce in this irregular pattern, and it'll like sometimes the treat will fall out, sometimes it won't. Currently, after this has like the holes opened up, what I typically do now is I buy there's dental sticks, and I buy the mini ones for small dogs, and I'll actually put 2 or 3 of those in here, and because of the shape, it kind of pries up against the side and they'll get stuck in here, and so for a day or 2 Charlie will go after trying to get those out of here. So it's something that we give to him when we leave the house for work and things like that, and we'll come home later on and he'll still be grabbing this, going after the treats inside. So that's the Emoly UFO dog treat ball. I'd say it's almost the number 1 toy as far as the use we've gotten out of this, but however, our top 3 toys, 1, 2, and 3 that are coming up, do rank higher than this due to nuances. Currently, you can get this on Amazon for $18.99. I'll say that that's a little bit too pricey for my taste when it comes to dog toys. However, based on our experience, it's definitely worth the $18.99 out of the use we've gotten out of it for 2 months or 2 years roughly. So I highly recommend buying it. It's just kind of whether you want to spend that much money or wait till you can get it for cheaper. Alright, so coming in at number 3 is a recent toy we got from Super Chewer by Barkbox in their Jurassic Park themed box when the recent movie came out. This is the beta toy. So I've done video reviews on this for both unboxing as well as a follow-up review. So if you're interested in looking at those videos and looking at the Jurassic Park theme box, you can use the link above and look at that video or search on my channel. But this is the beta toy. So this toy, as part of the Jurassic Park themed toy, was a dinosaur shaped head like this. It has this gray top, this kind of beige bottom, and it's like a solid piece of rubber, some ridges on the top. And this thing is a squeaker toy, so if you squeak it, it's a really loud squeaker. And we've had this for about, sorry, the door's closed, but Charlie's actually coming in, going after this, so let me open the door. Come on. He's right there. He absolutely loves this toy. He's actually underneath the camera going after it, but it's a squeaker toy. It's really loud. So if you hear it, yep, there he is. Sorry, he went after it. So as you can tell, Charlie absolutely loves this toy. He literally just ripped it out of my hands on the video, so I'm kind of just videotaping it as we talk. But this is a squeaker toy. It's the beta toy. What he'll do is he'll just grab this and literally chew on it like he does, and because it squeaks, it holds up very well. He'll go chasing after it, he'll run around the house with it, and the chewing or the squeaking aspect of it is held up so well. Over the past 3 months, there's literally no damage to the toy at all. He absolutely loves it, and I highly recommend it. So if you can track down the Jurassic Park themed Super Chewer box, this does come in it. You can actually reach out to Super Chewer and see if they are willing to give it to you as far as another option. But that's the Super Chewer Barkbox themed or Jurassic Park themed beta toy. Okay, so it's super exciting. We're at our runner-up or #2 toy for Charlie's top 10 toys of all time, and that's the Luma Bone Wishbone, which is this toy right here. These are 2 different options. Individually, you can get this at Walmart for about $8.50. I checked online and on Amazon as well, and you can actually get a 3-pack of these on Amazon for $14.98, which is a little bit cheaper than buying it on Walmart or at Walmart. So similar to the Bone, I have not used the Bone. This is the Luma Bone. It's essentially a wishbone. It's pretty straightforward. It has these nubs on the edge here on either end, as well as a nub here. And the nice part about this is it's bacon scented. And so if you actually smell it, it does smell like bacon, and it's like similar to a Nyla bone, but a little bit softer. And the reason why this is Charlie's #2 toy of all time is literally he uses this every single day. I get home, he goes, grabs this, chews on it, he'll run around the house with it, he'll chew on it for hours on end. If you look, this is our current one. We also have this older one. He's literally chewed this down to a nub on this edge. We probably had this for about a year. I purchased another replacement, and he's using it just as much as this other one. I really can't provide a comparison to Bone, but the Luma Bone is a great option. It's held up the test of time, and it comes in at Charlie's #2 toy because he uses it literally on a daily basis. Whenever he's stressed and whenever I come home, he'll just sit in his bed and chew it nonstop. And just because we're talking about different wishbones and those things as well, while we're on the topic, there's a couple other wishbones that I purchased that I don't really recommend. So this is one that I came across at some point that's like the Spot Wishbone. It's a similar design as far as a wishbone. As you can tell, Charlie's literally never used this. It's more of a solid nylon. It's a little bit too hard. It's not scented at all, and he's never played with this option, so I do not recommend the Spot Wishbone. That's that one. And then this is one I actually purchased recently while I was at Walmart. So it's a similar design. It's a Nyla bone version of the wishbone, where it is scented as well, and it's got this wavy pattern to it. Unlike the Luma Bone, for some reason he hasn't touched this at all as well, even though it's a similar structure and design and it is scented. I think he still is going after these other Luma Bones because he's played with them so much and because they're already chewed in and broken in. But that #2 toy is the Luma Bone. I would recommend going on Amazon and purchasing a 3-pack, just because if your dog likes this, they're gonna get a ton of fun out of it. They're gonna use it for stress relief. They're gonna chew on it. You can use it slightly for retrieval, but it is hard. The nice part is it is bacon scented. So I think that's really the reason why he goes after this all the time and enjoys chewing it so much. But that's our #2 toy. Okay, so drum roll please for Charlie's #1 toy of all time, and that's gonna be the Jolly Pets Tosser Bouncing Ball. This is a 4-inch ball in red. If you go on Amazon, you can get this for $5.69. We actually originally purchased this when we were in New Jersey at a pet store. I think we spent almost like $15, which is like 3 times the price, which is super expensive. It was just kind of a random purchase, but it's something that is definitely his #1 toy. He uses this all the time. Literally, he's been going after this toy for the past 2 days, and it holds up like a beast. So the Jolly Pets toy, essentially it's this solid rubber, similar to a Kong as far as treat dispensing, but it has some unique aspects to it. So the rubber on the edges has this kind of ridge design here. It's like a softer rubber where it's more compressible compared to the Kongs or similar treat dispensing toys. And the nice part is it's shaped as a ball, so it does kind of have this wacky wobbler kind of aspect to it. And then there's a hole on the side here that's smaller, and then this larger hole here. As you can tell, there's this treat inside here. The nice part about this toy is the entrance, or the hole on the top, is a little bit smaller, and it has this kind of like tapered end to it. So once you put treats in here that are smaller than this hole, it's almost virtually impossible to get out of here. Similar to what I do with the Emoly UFO dog toy, I put dental sticks in here, and I'll put 2 or 3 in there, and that's currently what's in here. So you hear it jumbling around, and Charlie will go after this for days until this gets out, like the treat comes out. Once the treat comes out, he's not as interested, but then I throw something in again, and literally he'll go after it again. But this is definitely his #1 toy of all time. It's the Jolly Pets Tosser Bouncer. You can throw this across the room as far as a retrieval toy. You can just kind of use it as far as a chew toy. He'll grab this and kind of chew it like this. And because it's treat dispensing, you can throw something in it and the dog can go after it, and the nice part is it doesn't fall out. So literally me sitting here, I have it upside down and I'm spinning it, and it's not coming out at all. So by throwing something in there, it virtually stays in there until either it falls apart and comes apart. And I don't know what scent it has. There is an aroma to this as well, so it's got like this vanilla-y smell to it, so it does smell good. But that's the Jolly Pets Tosser Bouncing Ball. That's definitely his #1 dog toy of all time, and you get it on Amazon for $5.69. I highly recommend it. You won't regret this based on my personal experience and Charlie's experience. Okay, so before we do a final summary and a ranking of the top toys from 1 to 10 as far as a review, I did want to provide a couple honorable mentions. So first off, we have the Hartz Clean Tough Dog Bone, which is this dog toy here. You can get a 3-pack on Amazon for $19.99, or you can buy a single toy for $8.47 on Amazon. I personally have purchased these typically from Walmart. The reason why this is an honorable mention is because Charlie used to play with these all the time, which is why we bought so many of them. But for some reason over time, he just lost interest and hasn't played with them as much. But this is essentially, it comes in these different colors. So it comes in either pink, green, or orange. Comes in this large bone or a smaller bone, depending on your dog's size and your personal preference, depending on how your dog plays. But how it's structured is similar to a nylon bone. It has this kind of like nylon bone outer casing, and on the inside here is more of like a softer rubber material with these ridges that they intend to kind of provide for dental cleaning and things like that. Typically when I got these in the past, Charlie would go after these and play with them on non-stop. We've had probably about like 2 or 3 of these larger bones before these ones you see before you, and he would like rip them apart and they would essentially need to be thrown out. However, over the test of time, he just hasn't played with nylon bones as much, which is why this is an honorable mention. So if you're looking for like a solid nylon toy with the kind of like rubber ridges, I recommend this. Your dog might like it initially, or like it more than Charlie currently likes them. It's just something that he kind of doesn't like, or it fell out of favor over time compared to his other toys. So that's the Hartz Clean Tough Dog Bones, $19.99 on Amazon, or a single bone is $8.50, and it comes in these 2 separate sizes. Next up for an honorable mention is the Super Chewer by Barkbox Smack Lunch Box toy. So you can look back to my video reviewing this. We actually got this as a replacement toy in the past, probably around December of last year, when one of our toys needed to be replaced through Super Chewer, so they sent this as an individual toy. In that video it'll go over everything in detail, but initially this was a toy which was a 2-layer play toy. Super Chewer does this frequently, where they'll have like a cloth outer layer with a rubber toy underlying it. So initially it was a like lunch bag cloth outer layer with this kind of burger toy underneath. It was a rubber design toy. It was a squeaker initially. On the bottom here it had a squeaker. However, over the time it broke apart and the squeaker no longer functions. And as you can tell, it had this rubber kind of hamburger material, and on the top it had this like this bun, but it squeaks like this. Currently Charlie will still play with this. He'll grab this and he'll kind of like grab on like this and kind of like chew it, but it has fallen apart where like the edge is lifted up. For the time being, when he had it, he played with it all the time. However, it fell apart, and because it doesn't squeak anymore, it's not something that we really play with anymore. Currently it's out of stock on Amazon or on Barkbox, and I wasn't able to track it down anywhere else. However, if you find this toy, you might want to try it out. So that's the Smack Lunch from Super Chewer by Barkbox. Okay, next honorable mention is going to be the Super Chewer by Barkbox Bubbler toy. This is this toy right here. Similarly, I've done this a video review on this, and this one was very hard to rank amongst the top toys of all time, because Charlie absolutely loved this toy. It would have been his #1 toy should it have lasted. However, it broke apart over time, and now he virtually gets no use out of it and doesn't play with it anymore. However, if it held up the test of time, this definitely would be his #1 toy, with kind of how much he played with it when he first got it. You can look back at my videos reviewing this, but essentially it was this bubbler toy. It was part of a spa theme box. As you can tell, it had these bubble edges with a clear rubber material, very common for Super Chewer, and on 2 separate ends it had these holes which were a little bit smaller here and over here, where you could put treats, put peanut butter, things like that inside of it, and virtually they would stay there and get stuck there, and Charlie would literally go days on end trying to get those treats or toys out of it. However, over time, as you can tell, it ripped apart and it no longer serves that function of being a treat dispensing toy, and now if you put peanut butter or something, it's easily accessible, and it's no longer like a toy he plays with at all. If you put something in here, I'll go after it until the treat falls out, and then he'll just drop it. But if this held up longer, and if this rubber didn't fall apart, it definitely would be his #1 toy. Ideally, just feedback for Super Chewer is if they kind of created this toy with like this large end here with these 2 bubblers here, and then a large end over on here, I suspect that would not fall apart as easily, and it could be Charlie's #1 toy of all time. However, currently it's an honorable mention just based on the fact that it broke over time. Okay, and it seems like all the honorable mentions seem to be Super Chewer toys because we have so many of them. But this next honorable mention is going to be the Get Ripped Margarita. It was from the Pool Party Animals box, so you can check that out. I did a review on this as far as an unboxing, as well as a follow-up video on this. And currently it is in stock on Barkshop for $14. If you look back at my video, this essentially was a margarita themed toy. It was a 2-layer play toy where it had an outer layer which was like this bright lime margarita kind of encasing it, as well as it had like a straw that had a handle on it. This toy, as I discussed in my prior videos, was Charlie's like favorite toy for the month he had it. Once he got the outer layer on outside, it had these ridges on here where it was treat dispensing, and so as you can tell, these ones are still intact, but he ripped apart this one and this one. And the nice part was when you put the treats inside of here, they got stuck and they would bounce around, similar to his number one toy, which is the Jolly Pets toy. However, over time, from him chewing the top and breaking apart this, the treats don't stay inside. Like, I've tried it multiple times as far as throwing dental sticks, treats, even his food in here, and what he's learned is essentially he can just bounce this around, and now they just fall out and they don't do anything or don't stay inside. So it's a toy that he no longer plays with and doesn't have as much fun with, because it doesn't treat dispense like it used to. But if this stayed intact here on the top, it probably could have been one of his top toys, like 1, 2, 3, based on our personal experience. However, the Jolly Pets toy is definitely the best option for treat dispensing with this kind of setup. So that's an honorable mention for the Get Ripped Margarita. If you're interested in buying it on Barkshop, it's currently $14. And then lastly, on a similar note, our last honorable mention is going to be the Super Chewer by Barkbox Throwin the Towel Squeaker toy. Currently, it's out of stock on Barkshop. However, if you look online, you can get it pretty readily accessible for anywhere from $17 to $20. I previously did a video on this, and this I think was part of the Spotting box with the bubbler as well. But what this was initially it was like a towel wrapping, or 2-layer plier towel wrapping encasement. It had like these kind of loops on the edge shaped like a towel, and it was like a washcloth kind of material. The one feedback I had related to this toy when we first got it was that with the outer casing, it was one of the first toys from Super Chewer that had like the casing shred when he ripped it apart. So it got into shreds where it was very small. So if your dog was prone to swallowing those, I would not recommend this toy just due to a swallow hazard. And it was surprising that Super Chewer allowed that. However, underneath this was this rubber ridge toy. I think it's suspecting like it's supposed to be like similar to a piece of soap, but it was a squeaker on the edge here. There was a hole here that allowed it to squeak, and there wasn't any edges or squeakers on that anywhere else. But when we had this, Charlie would squeak this all the time. He still grabs it and will run around the house with it and makes this like kind of like hissing noise. However, over time, because the squeaker broke, he doesn't really play with it as much. He'll take it out every couple days or so and he'll play with it briefly, but it's only like a couple minutes, and then he kind of just puts it to the side. If this the squeaker maintained its squeakiness, it definitely would be one of his top toys. However, now it's on the honorable mention category. So that's it for honorable mentions. What we'll do is we'll do a quick summary of all the top 10 toys of all time, and then we'll finish this video up. Okay, so in summary, here's Charlie's top 10 toys of all time. So first off, coming in at number 10 was the classic Kong in the small dog version. Next, we had the Boss Bones composite like wood bone that I highly recommend. After that, we had the Dentley's small femur dog bone. And then we had the Vanfine almost indestructible squeaker toy. We had the Super Chewer by Barkbox Space Jam themed basketball. We had the Super Chewer Howler Growler. Then we had the Emoly UFO dog toy. We're missing one right here, which is the Super Chewer by Barkbox beta toy from the Jurassic Park theme box. Charlie's currently being possessive of that toy and won't give it to me for this video, showing how much he likes that toy, but that's his number 3 toy. Then we had the Luma Bone Wishbone, which I highly recommend because it's bacon scented. And then coming in at number 1 is our Jolly Pets tosser bouncing ball. I highly recommend that toy because it's his number 1 toy. So those are Charlie's top 10 toys of all time. I hope that video was very thorough, giving our rationale why we like these toys and Charlie's personal experience. If you have questions, comments, anything like that, please post them below, and I'll post in the description below links to any of these through Super Chewer or online with the lowest prices that I could find. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe.